Hey, everybody.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm Shane. He's Shane. I'm Lex. He's Shane. Wow, apparently the liquor kicked in early today.
That's what happens
Today, you're Shane.
when you start drinking the crack of dawn.
Is that what it is? WMI.
We're going to talk about WMI. I mean, we added the WMI Scanner a while ago.
Yeah.
Right? And
it's one of my favorites, to be honest with you.
The problem is there are times where you just need to have WMI, but those times are kind of few and far between, and they usually deal with another application or service.
And it's usually a very specific thing you're looking for.
Yeah, if you look for popular WMI queries online, you're going to see a way to return the same information you can get in inventory, right? So we're just going to throw a few things here to kind of help with inventory, but also to help give you an idea.
Yeah, it's kind of plant the seed, get some ideas on what you can do.
Get those juices flowing.
Should we
Great
jump
shirt,
in?
by the way, Lex.
Oh, you like?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you want to jump into first, man?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't have this one scripted out.
Let's go take a look at least the scanners where you go and make these things up.
We'll do that. Yeah, sure.
Oh,
So we do have a couple, just for the sake of time. We did import a couple of scanners, but actually before we jump there, we'll show you how to build one.
Absolutely.
How's that sound? So you're going to go to Options and Scan Profiles, and in Scan Profiles you can either modify an existing profile or create a new one. We'll just for now we'll just create a new one, and in the new Scan Profile you can call it whatever.
WMI Extraordinary. Wow. Okay. I see you learned how. Yeah.
Extraordinary. Yeah. Now I just having a.
You having a Lex moment there?
I'm having a Lex moment. Something like that.
Ordinary.
Anyway, so we're going to add now. You can add a lot of different scanners here. I usually like to add computer details. It's not required, but once you go to WMI, remember that with WMI you can have multiple WMI scanners per scan profile, and if you need to hit a couple of different classes and properties, you're going to have a different scanner for each one. So we'll do this one.
It is important that your scanner names, just so that you know what they are somewhat unique, because once you do collections or reports off these, that scanner name is where you're going to be looking for that.
Correct. We'll just call this one computer system. Now the default namespace is going to be root sim-v2. We'll show you an example where that's not the case, but it's usually what's going to happen. Now if you don't know the query, which many of you won't, there's a little cheat sheet. There's a
WMI queries are a lot like regular expressions for me. I got to look, and once I get it going, then I'm good to go.
And once you get into that mode,
yeah.
So we just opened up WMI Explorer. It is bundled with this. It's not our program, but this is an open source little bundled utility.
Now you do have to connect, and it will connect to the local machine.
Yeah, and so we are on Guinness, and then you'll see all these namespaces. Like I say, root sim-v2 is the most popular. Don't just click on it. You want to double click. Once you double click, you'll see it's enumerating, and then you'll see in this case the different classes. And we'll just use you
can filter if you know what you're looking for. Filter definitely, because scrolling through there's a lot of stuff to look at.
Correct. I just started typing in computer. Win32 computer system is very popular, so you double click on that, and you'll see. Oh yeah, this is Guinness. Now you don't have to double click on this one. Click it, and you'll see all the different properties that are available there. You can also see the query. This is the important part. If you zoom down, do I need to move this up, JJ?
Okay. Well, the other place, go here, query right there, Shane, because it'll pull up a window.
Well, what we want to do is showing them the copy and paste. If they just wanted this, you can see
right there
the query. Now, don't use the in this place. Don't use the where clause, because you don't. Don't use where clause. All right.
So we're going to copy that. You can either shut the window down or just minimize it in case you have to go back.
So what we're doing, we'll just copy this. Just go up to select star from. Now, if you don't want star, there's a lot of information here, right? There's a lot of information on the properties. If you say select star, you're grabbing all of those properties. If you want just a few of those properties, then you would list the properties delineated by commas.
The other thing I like to do, I like to just execute the query to see that I'm actually getting data back.
All right.
So out the gate, I know I am going to get some data, and then I can go pick the columns that I want.
Yep. There you go. But we'll just for the sake of fun here, we'll just say select star. And we will, I'm just going to minimize that for now. And you just paste that in there. Now, if you want to modify it at this point, you can. The row limit, keep in mind, it's like the file scanner, it's like the registry scanner, where we're limiting it to 2,500 returned per scanner. You can modify that, but if you go too high, you're going to really.
When you say per scanner, is that per machine? 2,500. It could have 2,500 results per machine.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good call out there, brother. Thanks for saving me. That's one.
First time. Woo! Mark this day on the calendar.
Now you notice we've got a computer system. Now notice I did not call this out I did not name this WMI. I just called it computer system. But because it's a WMI scanner, I do like this addition that happened early on. That is, we just preface it with WMI.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you can always see that that's what that is. We'll say OK. Now it's always important that you scan your computer with if you created a new scan profile. Definitely, you got to scan with that profile. And
now, another great thing about this is you saw how fast when you executed, how fast that WMI scanner ran. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when you run it on all your machines, that scanner the only overhead should be the connection. You'll run the scan, which will be pretty quick, and then the return of the data and putting it in the database. So this should run fairly quick for you.
Good. Fairly quickly.
Quick. Lee.
We're scanning Guinness, and now you're all familiar with your computer window. Down at the bottom, you'll see WMI, and we break these down by the different scanners.
Absolutely.
So we've got one here for video controller, which we'll cover, but we grabbed one called computer system, and there's the computer system right there. And then you can build your collections and your reports based off of any of those columns. Okay, so I wanted to start that out right there. Now we've imported a couple of scanners. We can walk through those a little bit. But yeah, let's take a question.
Dear Shane and Lex, is there an option to filter WMI as a condition in PDQ Deploy? It will be a good addition to the file, registry, and collection filtering. Thanks, Patrick P.
I can tell you how I do it, Patrick.
With the last two words.
Yep. Build a collection.
Mm-hmm. Unless you consider Patrick P the last two words. Sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So there's not a native WMI filter or condition, pardon me, and we're probably not going to add one. Remember, we were starting. One concern we always have is real estate. What he's talking about, everybody, is when you're looking at. Can I open up Google Ultron, or am I going to see some bad words that Brig put in there?
Let's find out.
We'll do it live.
We're doing it live.
So we're going to go into conditions. Now we're looking at the properties conditions. Mm-hmm. This was, I think, covered a little bit in the tech minute if you were here earlier. We have native conditions like your OS version and your architecture, 32-bit, 64-bit, etc. And then file and registry. And we realized we can keep on chasing conditions like WMI or certain Active Directory attributes, but we're going to run out of real estate very, very quickly if we just chase these different, especially the more narrow use case conditions. So we created the PDQ inventory collection conditions so that you can actually have a collection, in this case, Patrick, that only contains those computers that pass a WMI.
You filter query. On your WMI?
Yeah, you've got your WMI query scanner, and you scan them, and then I want to know whatever passes this, that's that collection. Use that collection as the condition. That is the way to do it.
So you'd be doing is a member or is not a member, and then obviously you'd select your WMI query.
Correct.
I think I've got one. Nope, I don't.
It's just you create your collection and then you base it off of WMI.
Absolutely.
That really is the way to do it. And the cool thing about it is, with that inventory collection condition, you can do everything from the file scanners. You can have different applications. You can have so many different things that comprise a collection that these computers represent this state. Then just use that as the condition. It really is fantastic.
And the amount of logic you can put into a collection obviously is
imagine. And we save the real estate. You don't have to look at a list of 100 different conditions. You just need to build that to tailor it to your needs. I think honestly I think it's one of the more underutilized yet brilliant. I'm so happy with it. When Adam came up with that, it was a collective sigh of relief.
I got to say this, I talked to a lot of new customers. I talked to a lot of customers, and once I show them this, it's just like, bing, and people are like, can I do this? I'm like, can you build a collection? Well, yeah. Well, there's your logic. So
you could have collections that say, only Microsoft Office 2013 that has this patch level, and
There you go.
the computers that are in there or not in there, then you can have your package, your deployment package that says only go to those that aren't in that collection or go to those that are. It's fantastic. The world is your oyster. All right, we've got. I'm just going to go back over.
Should we talk about one of the scanners I built?
No.
I spelled it right.
Yes. Okay. So now you're going to see us troubleshooting on the fly. Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, so I just built a collection of scanners. So I built WMI scanners here, and when I say it's the royal we that did it. So a bunch of the crew got together, and notice I've got in this one here the software licensing. We talked about this earlier. We left that there because I'm going to show you something.
The spelling is completely Lex.
Everyone gets credit for the implementation, and then Lex gets credit for the spelling.
Sounds good.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks. Yeah. But okay, and then we ran these, all right, and I just, lice nesting. Obviously, I can go and run and take a look at that data. We'll just pop up noob here, and under WMI.
Allow scanners to save.
Oh, there we go. That's why we can't go to noob. So let's just grab Allen Rails for now.
Told you we'd be troubleshooting on the
There
fly.
you go. Bang. So you'll notice here, if I go to
Lice nesting.
lice nesting here, now I have to either build queries off lice nesting, or I guess I could go back and spell that correctly, and it will change it here.
Now, look at this. The WMI, you've got a little warning here. The WMI scanner has been modified and this computer's data may be stale. After you scan the computer with a scan profile that has WMI scanners, if you've changed any of those scanners, in this case, the software lice nesting, it's going to say, whoa, the last time this was scanned was before you had made this change. You might need to scan it again. So you could just come over here and go to it's
WMI scanners, bottom one.
WMI
It's
scanners.
a collection of them. And again, you can do them individually. I did a group of them because I just want all that information every time I run that scan. So lice nesting apparently now is up to date.
Yep. No, that warning is gone. And there you see that there it is. I think it is important. I don't want to just show them, hey, here's this. Here's the results of this.
Do you want to see what's under the hood?
Yeah, we got to look under the hood a little bit. But
and we'll go change the lice.
These should be in the bonus content. Is that correct, Kelly?
This one's not. I made it just before the show.
Oh, I added the WMI scanners.
Did you?
Yesterday.
Yeah, no, I made this one earlier today. So let's and we're going to go change lice nesting to licensing.
I put video controller in there yesterday.
You did?
Yeah. Okay, so you.
I just added this one just before you came in. All right, so lice.
We're going to go into lice nesting. Just double click or click edit.
And first, we're going to change the name lice nesting. And I don't know how to spell licensing without looking it up.
Licensing.
Licensing, okay. And if you take a look, here's the query, right? Basically, I am going and looking in CMV2.
Mm-hmm. And he's not doing a select star, as you notice. He's actually calling out the columns that you're going to see. So
You Control C that. All right, I'm going to open WMI query, and I'm going to go connect CMV2, and then I'm going to go over here to query.
Double click on C. Okay, there you go.
Paste that in. Boom.
You want to execute this?
Yep.
There we go.
Okay, so that's how I built this. I ran the star, I ran it out, and then figured the stuff I wanted. I wanted a description, I wanted the family, partial product key.
Obviously, the columns are massively important. If you misspell them, you will get an error.
You will get wrong. Yeah,
you'll get an invalid WMI query error.
But yeah, so I built that from a star and then worked way backwards and figured out what I wanted.
And the good thing about this is there are some classes that have so many properties. If you're not going to use them, you're just going to add more data to your database unnecessarily.
Absolutely.
So add some intelligence to it. So we'll go ahead and close this
that
out, or at least minimize it.
And then if we save this with the actual spelling of licensing, now when we go back and look, the old lice nesting.
It's going to have that same little warning because it just saw a change to the scanner. In this case, we didn't change any of the logic, but we did change the name. So we'll scan it again. WMI scanners. And remember, we're running this profile called WMI scanners. It contains 4 WMI scanners in there. And you can see all of them here as you drill down.
So, and the reason I built this one, we were talking with some of the crew here, and they're like, I always want to know what state machines are in. Is the licensing, has it been licensed? Is it not licensed? Because when you're spinning up and down labs and stuff, sometimes you got machines that haven't had licensing applied
Gotcha.
to them. So
Gotcha.
that's why we did that one.
You can always, there's a little link there, configure WMI Scanner. It'll just take you straight to the scan profiles, and we'll go back down WMI Scanners. Do we want to take another question before we jump into one of these? Okay.
Dear Shane and Lex, what is your recommendation for using a WMI scanner to tell which version of Defender is installed and the definition version? I'd like to build a weekly report so I can make sure my devices are up to date on definitions. Thanks in advance, Jeremy C.
Interesting that you mentioned that, because Colby, who's now on phone a friend, mentioned using WMI just last night for Defender. But there are some caveats there. Hey, Colby, are you on deck? You want to talk? And I just so you know, come on in, buddy. I imported this WMI Defender that you had out there. I assumed that was the one
Yes.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a peek at it.
So with this one, one thing to note. What?
Speak up, man. Speak up, boy.
Lex was taking his shirt off. That was what it was.
What?
With this scanner, one thing to note is that you will get an error if you're running a different AV. So just something to kind of keep in mind.
Yeah, keep that in mind. If you're running Defender, this is excellent for you. But if you're not, then you will see some errors. And that's a good point, because you will. A lot of WMI, you're going to see errors on different operating systems. Maybe something was introduced in Windows 10, Windows 8.1, Windows 7. You're going to see an error, right?
Yeah. So with this one, I believe Stephen Valdinger pointed out this class in the previous webcast, and I sort of took a quick look at this. So I don't know 100% like how accurate this is, but it appears to be the type of information that you're looking for. And
Notice the namespace is not SimV2.
Yep. And what is it?
It's yeah. There we go. Like I hit. No, it's right here. There we go. It's there we go. It's you can keep it down and then do it.
Oh.
There we go.
It's been a while
That
since
way,
I've been on.
yeah, it's not SimV2. By default, we populate that. But in this case, if you were to launch the WMI Explorer, which we already have up, you could see it's under Microsoft, right? Like root Microsoft, and then
Windows. And then Defender. Which is right there.
Right there.
One more, yeah. And then you do have to check that box for the
include
MSFD.
Microsoft classes?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead and do that.
And then come over here and hit refresh. And where is it?
So I hope you're paying attention, sir. There we go. So there's the query. No, that's not. That's actually the wrong query, but that was from our previous query that we did.
Right here. Yeah,
If
so
you look down, remember there's at the bottom query. Yeah.
Yep.
The bottom query. There's that. That's what you're going to copy, and that's what you did, right?
Yep.
So effectively, you copied that, and we wanted to show you how he got there. So the root or the namespace is not root CMV2; it's root Microsoft Windows Defender, and then there's literally the query. So if we were to run, do we have Defender on these? Did you want to look at something else?
No, you would put some spaces in the name, but that's probably fine.
Oh, do you want to put spaces in the name?
No, when I was trying to do the highlighter, it put a bunch of spaces in the name.
Oh, I see what you're saying. 1 second, everybody. It's a Windows Defender. No, it looks like it cut it off. There we go. Cancel.
You got rid of them. Cool.
So anyway, that's our. So do we have Windows Defender out there? Can we scan these?
Maybe.
Ha!
Let's try it.
Let's check it out. We'll just grab a handful of them.
Yeah.
But run that query, and we'll just do this. So we selected those. We'll hit scan, and Windows Defender. And you're going to see some. Once again, there. If there's other antivirus solutions out there, then this would fail. Like in this case, it looks like Windows 7. This is an invalid WMI namespace. So if you have Windows 7 out there, this is not going to work for you. There might be a Windows 7. There might be a Windows 7 commensurate. No, they don't have Defender in 7.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why that's not there.
So you probably don't, just by nature of your question.
Yeah.
So let's open up Guinness. And we got Windows Defender, and there it is. There's your engine version, product version, service. I'm not sure if there's a signature. I'm not sure if it shows the version of the definition, but
Oh, I think it's back.
I'll let you drive.
At least I.
Probably the signature. There it is, right there. I saw a signature. Yep.
Yeah, right there.
Anti-spyware signature version. So that's what you would do, and then when you're using your collections of your reports, use the version comparisons to be able to do greater than, less than, et cetera, properly.
Do we want to show that?
How fast can you do it, sir? Let's check him out. All right, you're on the
Start
spot.
the clock.
In fact, if we really wanted to do, we'd show that we would add the latest version in a variable. That way, once that version changes, you just have to change it once. Oh my
How's
God,
my drink? I was going to say, you're drinking my drink.
Party foul. I was going to drink Lex's drink.
All right, I got to come back. I got
right,
to
you
protect my
step
drink
in
at this
there.
point.
It's not a wounded soldier yet.
Yeah. So you're.
So
gonna-
your version comparisons, yeah.
Yep. So basically, any of these.
Yeah. Any of those guys right there, and then let me just put this in the middle here. So what's we're going to do version lower than, higher than? What do you got?
Probably. I guess it depends on what you're looking for.
Try looking version lower than. We'll see.
I was going to say, yeah. Version lower than, and then I have not a sniff at what the version might be.
Should be able to copy that.
I love this. Wow. Okay. Apparently you can't copy that. I love it. So at this point, you're pulling a Lex here. You just build it. Don't name it. We got to name it, dude. Launch it. It'll be like new collection. I got 50 new collections. That'll give me different information. Windows Defender. Been hanging around with me too much, haven't you? All right. And then our collection has, well, 3 of them. They got lower versions than apparently the one on Guinness.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Cool. Well done.
Excellent.
Thanks, Kobe.
Yeah.
You know, this brings me to a good point. I wrote a thing on profiles, a scanner on profiles.
You wrote a thing on
A
profiles.
thing on profiles called
You
the
are a
scan-
thesaurus.
I don't even know what that means. Just kidding. I do. Shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up, man. So I did one on profiles. Hey, so this, I wanted to see how many people have logged into different machines.
Okay.
Which profiles are out there. So again, root sim v2, you'll notice I ran the star and then I picked out the stuff I wanted, which was, is it a loaded profile? Is it the local path? Is it roaming configured in the last use time? So I could see when the last time someone logged in.
Cool.
I ran this and then I built a report. Let me just show you the report. You guys have seen these be built, so let me just pop a report up real
We'll
quick.
go to report, or you want to go to the actual report.
Oh, let's just run it. We'll go. Yeah, we'll go to the report. It's called profiles.
I see new reports. Hello, Lex.
Yeah, I know.
Go to Lex's computer. Just new folder 1, 2, 3.
Hey, yeah, that's true. I keep it in the mental Rolodex, but
So you have no filters
absolutely none.
in the.
But so here's the thing. I wanted to know the computer name, last use time, local path, roam configuration. You run this, right? And out the gate, I don't think this is really all that usable, but I can do this.
That's
right?
why we're showing it.
I have to punch you after. Group by this column, and now I can see everybody that's logged in and like who's, it looks like right here, 24. Mr. Martin has logged into most of these machines, and if I don't double click and just expand that, these are all the machines that Martin's on. So I can kind of scroll through here and I'm like,
Now you did something really quick, but didn't call it out. You did a grouping.
I did.
So go ahead and remove the grouping.
Ungroup.
Show what you did. So you want to group by Josh,
I want to group by
or you group by that column.
anybody in the local profile column and then puts it together. I do this a lot with applications, the same thing, so I can see all the applications and the machines are on. Well, this I wanted to see profiles. I don't know who Tony Blurp is, to be honest with you. So these are all the machine Tony Blurp has touched.
Awesome.
And so along with this, I also made a collection called the Tony Blurp collection, profile Tony Blurp. Those are the 10 machines that Tony Blurp has touched.
Okay.
So now I've got
I like it. Well done. Well done. Thanks, man. Do we have another question?
Dear Shane and Lex, I found a computer with a corrupt WMI database and was forced to rebuild it. I know the rebuild commands can be sent through PDQ Deploy, but can PDQ be used to find which computers need their WMI databases rebuilt? Thanks, Ian W.
I mean, there's not a flag or anything that I know of that just says this needs to be rebuilt. It's usually you find that out when you start getting a lot of invalid queries or a lot of WMI timeouts, etc. That's where you try to load it up in WMI Explorer and you start seeing different tells. But there's not a flag. There could be thousands of different reasons why it's corrupt, and a rebuild is necessary. And it was very common back in the day. You know, XP. Vista, it was a common practice to have to rebuild the repository.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, you know, you would delete certain files, you would run a command, and it would come back. Command would come back immediately. And if you're still doing this, the command might come back immediately, but it could take up to 20 minutes or so to actually rebuild that.
it. Yeah.
So if you do find yourself, and we're not going to cover that here. If you have to find yourself recovering it, you know, give it some time before you start hammering WMI, because it's building hundreds of thousands of values and
Records,
properties.
yeah.
But no, there's not that I know of, unless you want to scan and notice that there's certain WMI errors. Like in this case, invalid namespace only happens on the Windows 7. Chances are these are not. This is by design. These are not problems.
They're just. I actually know what
It
causes
might be a
that
problem.
one,
It's not a bug
Yeah,
in WMI or anything.
I'm running a Windows 10 WMI query against Windows 7. Now, that doesn't happen to be Tony Blurb, or the profile scan, but it is Windows 10. So the last scan that was run shows that this had an invalid namespace. So,
Do we have another question?
Dear Shane and Lex, are we able to use WMI to find the last AV scan? Thanks, Kyle B.
Hey, Kyle. That really depends on the whatever AV you're using. When software vendors decide to use WMI, then they might store it in there. I remember in the old Norton and then Symantec antivirus, their version information was stored in an INI file.
Yeah.
So when we built a systems management tool, Adam and I, for this company, we had to actually build an INI scanner to look for that definition version. Regular inventory could find the engine version. As far as the last scan, it just depends on the vendor. Whatever information that they capture, it might be in a file, it might be in WMI, it might be in the registry. So we would need to know which one you're using and then do some homework ourselves. Okay. Yeah, so I want to show you another one. I'm going to go back over here into scan profiles and go down to WMI scanners. And Chris had called this out. There might be an issue with this one if someone's not logged on.
That's right.
I've seen both results.
yeah.
But the video, I've got one here using video controller. It's in SimV2, and it's literally, you notice there's so many rows of data here that I did cut it down, saying I just want to know the name of the video controller and the horizontal and vertical resolution, as well as the refresh rate, and while I was there, the driver version. So this is my WMI. You could do a select star and get a lot of information, and there's some that you legitimately might want. But if I were to come over here to Guinness again, oops, that's noob.
Noob hasn't been scanned. I turned the scan off on it last week. But yeah.
Go down to video controller. Here I can see that it's got 1024 by 768. Let's go to
Jerry. I know Jerry's different.
Jerry's got 1600 by 1200.
Yep.
And right now no one's logged on to Jerry. So
As it
we've
sits.
seen it. Sometimes it might depend. There's a couple of different ways to try to pull resolution. We've never really found a really good one.
Yeah.
But this could help you out if you are interested in trying to figure out what resolution people are running at. The video controller might be the it's Win32 video controller, might be the class you want to look for. And then of course you can build your collections and your reports this way, saying show me everybody that's 1600 by 1200. So
Do we have time for one more? All right, so this is one we showed a little while ago, and that's applied GPOs.
okay.
And I love this one because, you know, I make a change and that's like, did it take? And again, this one, just so you guys know, does not exist in SimV2. It's an RSOP computer. And basically this one, we're grabbing everything from that. So we get all the information. Again, you can build this. Just make sure when you call your namespace, you're running it against where it actually exists.
So you're looking at our software. That's the resultant set of policies. You want to see which policies were applied.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure if this one will show you the precedents in which they were. I mean, there's actually there's commands to run that to find out the precedents. But let's check it out.
Applied policies. Here's the name of the policies. I don't know. This is all the data it returns.
I don't
so there
think
might be a
this
precedent in
class does show you the precedents, but I could be wrong.
No, it shows a version. But anywho, at this point, you know, let's say you wanted to find out machines that didn't have RDP enabled. You could say, you know, build a collection or report saying, you know, show me all the ones that have RDP enabled, and then show me none of those.
Or I want to find machines that have never had. Yeah, like there you go, the enable RDP. Basically, whatever policies you've got, whatever group policies you've got out there, if you want to find some that have run it or haven't run it, then you can do inventory, collections, and reports for that.
Absolutely. And then you can run, remote commands or whatever against that. And
really, it comes down to, it really does come down, take some time. I mean, when you really have, for example, deep freeze. Now, obviously, we have a deep freeze native scanner that's part of inventory because we had so many requests for it. But guess where we got that information? WMI. So you have an application or a service and you need to find some information that you don't naturally have in inventory because it's not in the applications column or something. Check out that vendor's website. Look for WMI. Hey, this is the WMI class. Launch your WMI Explorer, connect to a machine that has that application, and kind of figure out what they show, because there's a good chance you'll be able to capture that information in PDQ inventory.
absolutely.
Do we have another question?
And our final question of the day, do you know of a good WMI reference webpage or book detailing useful settings? I know useful is subjective. Thanks, William. Don't call me Billy. Z.
Hey, William.
Hey, William.
Well, yeah, you're right, and thank you for calling out that it is subjective. If you were to go out there and say pop your WMI queries, you're going to see a lot of information on computer system or operating system, stuff you can get in inventory natively. But if you want to look out, we've got a KB. I think it's in the bonus content, but we wrote a KB. We'll just type in. We'll just look for it.
Now, the other thing I did, I just Googled last night because I'm like, I prepped for the webcast. 10 most useful WMIs, and I got a lot of PowerShell stuff. But the nice thing is, you go read the PowerShell, you can take the queries out and actually run those against.
I like that.
So
I like that. Oh yeah, we didn't even cover PowerShell. But yeah, there's quite a few here examples plus links to stuff to help get you started.
Absolutely.
This is kind of how we integrate WMI using the WMI scanner.
that's a great article. That KB is really good. I would suggest you.
And just don't forget when you're building your reports. So Lex has his profiles here in the define report under column. You'll find your WMIs at the bottom of your column there. Everything's going to be prefaced if it's a WMI scanner with WMI, and you can specify which one. Once you select one, you can't select the other because of the relationships. That's if you're using the basic report. We're not even going to go into using SQL. Because if you want to use a SQL, I'll tell you right now, there's going to be a lot of joins that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to do about 5 different joins just to be able to narrow this down. It's kind of complex and painful, but you can still do it. Anyway, here Lex has just specified once he chose WMI Profile, he was able to choose the columns that are associated with that. So there you go. So that was the last question.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. You guys dig into WMI. It's out there. It's powerful. You probably have applications that utilize it, and there's information that you can use in your real environment as long as you build the scanner to grab it.
Absolutely. You get that information, you can build collections, you can build reports, and then you can use those collections as conditions on your packages, guys.
Make your decisions.
Absolutely.
And I'm Shane.
I'm Lex. Catch you guys later.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations, William Z. and Kyle B., winners of PDQ swag. Send us your info at webcast@pdq.com. Thanks again for joining us, and don't forget to check us out again next week.